Hey guys, hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. Today we have the second video in my 3-video mini series of top 10 favorites. I'm going to be starting off the year with my top 10 favorite albums ever because music is the finale, because music is the best thing in the world. A lot of core favorite movies that I've loved for a majority of my life, and so those are kind of the ones I decided to prioritize, are ones that came to mind first, ones that really stick with me, and ones that I feel kind of like define me and my taste. So I did take this list serious, as I did with the books, as I will with the albums. And I'm kind of a person where like my favorites are very easy for me. I'm very like, if I love something at one point in my life, I love it for like ever. I'm a huge movie person. I have been since I was little, and it's something that I've shared with like my cousin. She's my movie buddy, and we love watching movies together and kind of like sharing movies, keeping up to date with things, editing our to be watched list. And I also grew up like, me and my family every weekend we would watch movies together, and that was kind of the way that we would pass the time, relax, and hang out together. Also want to preface this by saying I did not put any like documentaries or nonfiction in there because 1D This Is Us is huge for me and my #1 fave of that. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I hit 2,000 subscribers and that is so exciting to me. If you want to see any of my other social medias, they're all music related. You can check them out in my link tree down below, as well as my Depop. I wanted to take time to shout it out. We just added a bunch of new stuff. Thank you to everyone who has supported it already. It is under Bethy Styles on Depop, also in my links down below in the description. We've added new Ford Love and Lemons. We've added some cute vintage bags. We have some Harry Potter, some MLB Dodgers stuff, some USC stuff. We've got Urban Outfitters, Zara, all kinds of brands and all kinds of really cute stuff. And we ship them all same or next day. So we have really fast shipping. We're proud of that. And we ship with some free goodies. We have free stickers, free bookmarks, and a lot of free stuff when you also buy as well. And handwritten note, cute bags, packaging, all of that. So if you'd like to check out my Depop, you can always message me, leave me a note, anything like that. It's down below, as well as my favorite songs of the moments. And let's go ahead and get into this. Hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, turn on your post notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. So the first one I think is no surprise. As you can see, my necklace is my Titanic necklace I actually got in Belfast, Ireland when I went to the Titanic Museum there, because the Titanic was built there. It's on a lot of people's list of their favorite movies of all time. Leonardo in this movie is so beautiful. But I think a lot of my interest in this movie is based around my interest in the Titanic. I've always like been interested in the Titanic. Even back to when I was a kid, I would ask for books, and I think it's just like my most interesting like historical fascination. Effects of this movie are insane. This movie is sad. It takes you through so many emotions, and I think like less of what's sad to me is like the love story of this, and like Jack's death is less sad to me than the really intense scenes of them showing as the boat was going down and showing like everyday people in their rooms. I think that is what gets me really sad, because you know that that was real versus this fictional love story aspect of it. But I also do enjoy that it's so much more than just like a cheesy love story. It's like there's class that is involved. If you didn't know, I am terrified of boats. I have a few friends who know this especially well because they've seen me do not get on boats. I can barely look at boats. If I like am watching a show and there's a boat on it that's rocking, I will like get seasick just watching it, and I will feel sick. So I'm extremely sensitive to boats, and maybe that goes all the way back to my childhood obsession. This is the root maybe with the Titanic. Next, I wanted to put a nostalgic childhood movie for me. I think if you get super excited every time a movie comes on, you have to watch it, you hold it in your heart, it's one of your top favorite movies. Because I'm a Disney Channel kid through and through, so I had to go with the Hannah Montana movie. And I actually put this little lanyard in the back because I recently saw it for the anniversary in Hollywood at like a special screening with one of my best friends, Grace. This was like a few months ago we went to this. Fully into this because I've talked about it a lot on my channel, but Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana was very special to me, something I took very, very serious. Particularly this movie was huge for me. I used to watch this all the time, and I would watch it with my grandma. And Miley was my favorite. She was my first ever concert when I was 7 years old on the Wonder World tour. That can be me. Like, I want to do that too. I want to sing like that. I want to play a guitar. I want to make my own songs. And I think this was like my earliest introduction into that. And so I felt really connected to her and this movie. And especially like this scene where she sings The Climb at the benefit concert and she takes off her wig and she sings The Climb was one of like the most defining moments of my childhood. Like, I can't even lie. I just remember that feeling, like even watching it back with my friend, that scene was just so powerful. And I think she's an amazing singer. I had like my mom's old boombox I had my whole childhood, and I would listen to this soundtrack every single morning when I woke up from school. What was your favorite Disney Channel movie? Okay, next movie is called Mid-90s. Now, this is such a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen this, I so highly recommend this. This is actually, the way I found out about this is so cringe. Back in the day, I was a huge Finn Wolfhard girl. He has always been like super into movies, a cinephile, if you will. Finn posted about this movie and I watched the trailer and it looked so interesting. So I went and saw this with my mom. I have like a vivid memory of going to see this with her, and we both loved it, and it became kind of like a staple movie. This is written and directed by Jonah Hill, which Jonah Hill is just so talented. It's actually funny because I recently just bought a McLovin shirt. This is kind of based on his experience growing up in Los Angeles in the mid-90s. LOL. Follows Stevie and a group of other, you know, teenage boys that are in the skate scene in Los Angeles, and it kind of just follows like their troubled home lives and the way that they kind of use these friendships as like a way to escape. It's about like chasing your dreams. A lot of them have different ambitions, and the main character in this, you can kind of see in the back them skating like down the road. He was a professional skater who had never actually acted, but they wanted the skating in this to be real. He was insane. His monologue at the end of this movie like is so powerful, and I think about it all the time. Sorry. The ending of this is so sad, and something that took us so off guard, but I also think it's such a good like learning, something to learn from. It's just a beautiful movie. It is shot so beautifully. I had a sticker of this movie on my laptop for like years and years. It said "Fall, get back up," and that is the message of this movie. This is like so random, but for some reason I was like really obsessed with like skate culture to the point where I even got a skateboard for Christmas, and this was like a nice skateboard. It was like the Bones brand, the Stacy Peralta brand, and I did try it out. I'll let you know how that goes next time I pick it up. I'm not a person who needs to be injuring themselves, so this is an A24 film. I had on my skateboard, I had a printed out sticker that said mid-90s. Maybe I should try again. I had to do a Disney movie, go with the one that I have the most memories of and that I reach for to rewatch the most. You have probably already guessed what it is. That is A Bug's Life. And I know that this is not a lot of people's favorite Pixars or on a lot of people's lists, which blows my mind. Again, I have a lot of memories watching this with my grandma, just like over and over. I mean, I'm sure everyone has seen this movie, but this movie is hilarious. Like, I still watch it all the time. It's like one of my comfort movies. And also, for some reason, the way that this was shot and the animation in this was like always so comforting to me. Like the scenes with like the leaves with the little dew on them. I feel like this is just like the definition of like what Disney does best. Amazing soundtrack. I love this soundtrack. Was bug, little bug. TFIOS, The Fault in Our Stars. Listen. You may be thinking this is out of character for me because I absolutely hate romance in like media, not and I absolutely love if like romance is part of a storyline and it adds to the story. Of course, I mean, probably every movie has a great romance, but I usually don't like things that solely are just like cheesy, unbelievable romances, like The Notebook. Yeah, this movie I think has so many more layers. I think this is a beautiful movie, and I feel like this just defines a time, right? Like 2014. Also, the focus it has on cancer is something that makes it different, something that makes it powerful, and something that makes it, I think, relatable, because unfortunately so many people's lives have been impacted by that. This is a movie that I kept returning to my whole life. Every time it's on, I have to watch it, and I sob like a baby every single time. I really love the soundtrack as well. Actually, the label that I work for now did the soundtrack to this movie, and I listen to it all the time. Still, it holds up. I went to Amsterdam when I studied abroad, and I found the bench that this scene happens on. This is where it's starting to get pretty serious. Of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't need to go super into these because I have a whole video where I rank Tim Burton movies. I'll leave it in a card if you want to check it out. But yes, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm obsessed with Jack, and I'm obsessed with this movie, and I have been since I was super little, and I've always found comfort in this movie. This is like one one of my favorites, some of my favorite songs. Sally is my favorite fictional character of all time. Sing Street. Now, if you know me, you know about this movie because I've talked about this forever. I'll never forget when I saw this. I was in 9th grade or 10th grade and my dad was like, hey, I'm gonna go see this movie. It's called Sing Street. It's about music. Do you want to come with me? I knew absolutely nothing about it. I was like, sure, I'm always down. So I went, and I literally physically remember sitting in the theater. Like, I remember the row we were in and like this movie like changing my life. And like I walked out and I like was like, oh, so inspired to just like write so many more songs after seeing this movie. It is on streaming and I tell everyone to watch this movie. This movie is about a boy who goes to an Irish religious school. It takes place in Ireland in the 80s, and he decides, he meets this really pretty girl. She lives at like an all-girls home and she's a model, and he wants to impress her, so he tells her he's in a band. He is not in a band, and so he's like, dang, now I gotta make a band. So he really quickly makes a band out of the people at his school. This movie is like loosely based on U2, the band U2, which is why my dad wanted to see it in the first place, and they also worked on it. He puts up flyers like, I need to make a band, and he puts a band together with like the cutest, most adorable little Irish boys, and they're so talented. And they're actually musicians in real life. The soundtrack to this is probably like my top favorite movie soundtracks of all time. I'm not even kidding. I listen to it daily. Please listen to this soundtrack on Spotify. If you do anything, we'll watch it as well. But listen to Drive It Like You Stole It. Listen to Beautiful Sea. Listen to Brown Shoes, just because that one's fun and funny. Listen to Up and listen to Find You. Those are some of the most beautiful songs that I still cry every single time I listen to them, like it's the first time. A beautiful message of like going for your dreams, no matter how scary they may seem, and that they go through. They decide that they love writing songs. All of the pushback that he got because he was creating a rock band and he went to a religious school and fighting against like the man, saying like nothing can stop art, and art is powerful, and art has the ability, especially music, to bring people together and heal them in ways that nothing else can. And that's obviously why I work in the music industry and why I believe in music. So it shows a lot of the UK. So if you love the UK, this movie just has everything and it's perfect. Watch it. That is the giant poster I have on my wall. See, look. Sing Street. This is Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton movie starring Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder, obviously. This movie is about a kind of like creation that was made up in a dark tower by kind of like almost like a Frankenstein-like doctor scientist. He made him and died before he had the chance to fix his hands, and so his hands are made of sharp scissors blades. And our protagonist ends up, she's like an Avon, she sells like makeup. The cinematography of this movie is absolutely stunning. White picket fence lifestyle that a lot of people live, where it's hard for them to accept things that are different or not like them. And she kind of like takes him in and helps him. Looks like that, so a lot of people are scared. They don't know what he is. They automatically think he's violent or bad, but then she learns that he is just sweet-natured at heart, that he doesn't want to be like this, and he ends up falling in love with her daughter, who is Winona Ryder. But obviously there's really nothing much that he can do about it, and she's in a relationship with a really toxic boy. And this movie, I think I saw this very young and it very much connected with me. First off, absolutely beautiful score. It's Danny Elfman, of course. But I think, I don't know, I feel like I've always kind of like related to this movie and like this message, and the fact that like everyone can find love and everyone can be accepted no matter who you are. And it's obviously presented to you in a very fantasy, very abstract way, but it's really just like a simple message. My favorite quote from this is, everything has beauty, but not everyone chooses to see it. My last two, so of course you guys know Coraline is my favorite. Coraline has been one of my favorite movies since I was young. I actually recently just saw it for the remastered anniversary version in the theater with my mom, and it was amazing. This is my comfort movie. I could tell you every line, every word, every scene of this movie. I've seen so many interesting behind the scenes things as well, like the creation of these characters, and Lakia is just such an amazing production company. They also did The Box Trolls, they also did Paranorman, and they have a new one coming out, which I'm excited about. If you don't know a lot about stop motion and you're interested, like I highly recommend you just like look up videos on YouTube of like the way they do it, because you will have no respect for any filmmaker more than like people who do stop motion animation. It is insanely hard. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it has an amazing story of being brave and you know, fighting for your loved ones, fighting for yourself, coming of age fantasy story. That is the best. I'm sure everyone watching this has seen Coraline, but in the rare case you haven't, also another absolutely amazing score. I'm gonna get a cat when they move out. It's always been my dream to have a cat, and I'm gonna name her Cora, named after Coraline. That's always been my dream. No one is surprised. And I have my cute little journal up. Here's the Tim Burton movie where I was like, it kind of just like was above everything for me, and reasons I couldn't even explain. Always been fascinated by things that like deal with religion or like the afterlife. I've just like always been extremely fascinated with that, and I think this movie deals with that in a really beautiful way of being able, you know, how Emily is kind of stuck because she hasn't been able to let go of what happened to her when she was alive, but then the ending of her being set free and realizing that the things of this earth like don't really like matter and you belong somewhere so much more peaceful. And so I think that that message was always very powerful to me. Don't forget to come back to see my top 10 favorite albums video, and then that will be it for my little mini series of 3. But I will see you guys in my next video. I love you so much. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you.
Beauty and brains, singing with the stars. Is it weird? Is it wrong to wanna